Hello, hello, hello. I am so happy today on my podcast show because I have a wonderful guest who is joining me today, and her name, and I'm going to say this right because I said I would. I practice it a million times. And her name is Coach Claudia Noriega Bernstein. I can say it again and roll my R's. You got that, folks? It's Claudia Noriega Bernstein. Maybe I said it better the first time, but at any rate, she is a coach, an abundance coach, if you will. And just trust me, folks, if you don't know what that means, she will let you know. We're going to get right down into it because we don't have a minute to spare. Not only is she a coach based out of Nevada, that's right, Las Vegas. Not today. Whatever doesn't stay in Vegas shows up here on my podcast show. Speak to Me First podcast show.
Into the world.
That's right. And I'm Toye JOHNSON-VINCENT, your host. I'm also a coach, an HR consultant, as well as a trainer for corporate entities, and of course, your podcast host. But you mostly know me, my national and international audience can refer to me as the No Sugarcoating Coach. And without further ado, I want to say this. If you don't understand what abundance means, you will now understand that and more. My guest, my friend today on Speak to Me First podcast show. Welcome, Coach Claudia Noriega Bernstein. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. And I love the no sugar part because sometimes we have to hear it how it is.
Yes. Yeah, and I know that. And we talked off camera and you were talking about that. I said no sugar, but a couple of things about that whole no sugar coating is I'm a native New Yorker, so we never sugarcoat anything in New York, that's for sure. Currently based in the greater Atlanta area. And not only that, I just happen to be diabetic type 2, so I don't do a whole lot of sugar. I don't really say I don't do any sugar, but I just minimize my intake. So that's where the name comes from. And from a coaching style, hey, like you said, Coach Claudia, I give it to you straight with no chaser. So, but today I'm telling you, you are an author, you are an artist, you are also an accomplished actress, because I've seen the videos, your interviews, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that until I saw that. And she just slipped that one right under the rug for me. But as a soap opera fan, you are a soap opera actress, is that right?
Yeah, I don't blow my own horn very often. I should.
That's all right.
I started when I was 17 years old, and I started as an accident pretty much. I was walking the street coming from my acting class, and a producer saw me through a window and offered me a part in a movie. I went home. I told my mom. She said, there is no way you're going to be an actress. You're going to college. That's it. And so I was 17 years old, so I couldn't sign any contract. So I called him, told him, sorry, I cannot do it. My mom doesn't want me to be an actress, blah, blah, blah. And the part has, it was for a movie actually. And the part had a scene where I would have been looking outside the window and my back was exposed. So it looks like I wasn't wearing anything. And my mom was like, there is no way you're going to do that. So I told the producer, if you have another thing that could be less, risky, contact me. So he did. And for 6 months, I did a soap opera without a contract until I turned 18. And then I signed the contract.
Wow. Well, that by today's standards, of course, everything is on a contract these days. So, yeah, the things that we do, but that's okay because it launched an acting career. And I haven't seen anything, but I certainly would love to find that on YouTube or somewhere. But I just wanted to say congratulations, because you are you just have so many titles. But you know what? And I know you're not acting this one out today. So tell us, what is an abundance coach? What do you do? Who do you serve? And really, how can that help people out there who's like, yeah, I need to really link up with an abundance coach?
Well, as as you know, because you are a life coach, sometimes people come to us trying to get a fix for their life. It's like, okay, you're a life coach, tell me what to do. And while I was going through the process with some of my clients, I came to realize that for them to achieve what they want in life, they first have to acknowledge what they do have in life. Because oftentimes they don't do that. They just want to jump into, this is what I want, but they don't want to do the homework, and they don't want to acknowledge the responsibility in what they have, the decisions they had made. You know, if they're aligned with the vision they have, they don't know how to be in integrity, because they just, you know, they have fall into the world that we live, and they have, as I said in my journal, they have they shrink to fit. And unfortunately, when we do that, that comes with a grief that we talk about in our previous interview, the grief of the person that we thought we could be, and we are no longer, or we never achieve that person. And also the guilt of having to say yes when we wanted to say no. And we have to look ourselves in the mirror, and we have to like that person that is looking back at us, and we have to embrace that me that is looking back and say, okay, this is who I am, this is my responsibility, this is the life that I want, and this is what I am committed to do and change so I can have that life. So I started to read a lot about abundance, and I realized that many of us think that, I don't think that anymore, but thought like abundance is many things, like a plenty of things, you know. And by saying things, I'm saying money, cars, houses, jewelry, purses, whatever it is. And abundance doesn't have to be material things. You can have abundance of joy, you can have abundance of health, you can have abundance of friendship, you can have abundance of success in different ways. So that's where I found my niche. And a lot of my clients are women. I had a couple of guys, and I started it actually with teenagers. And it was kind of like a default thing. My kids, friends, I always, rather than spending time in my house and my kids going somewhere else. And it was kind of funny, because of all the moms, I was the more strict, because I'm Latin. So, you know, respect, boundaries, all those things, you know, are engraved in my brain. So this is how I raise my girls. But the girls, the friends of my daughters wanted that. And in general, kids want those structures. So they start opening up with me, and I start learning so much from them at the same time that they were learning from me. And that's how I found that niche. You know, let's focus on the things that you do have. Let's find the abundance in your life. Let's see what is working in your life, and let's take it from there. And that's pretty much how I started with the abundance.
Wow, because when you mentioned right up in the beginning, and you said, you know, just like I'm a life coach, and when I'm trying to coach clients, first I start with coaching myself. Like, hey, if I'm not together, I can't really help anybody else. But that's amazing how you tapped in also to the adolescents, you know, the teens, because it kind of starts way back, you know, what your thought process is. What do you think about money, or don't have the money, or the capital, or, you know, where I live, what I'm doing, am I successful? And a lot of times we just base it, say, well, if we don't have this, things, like you said, because I'm sure if we looked it up in the Webster dictionary, it would probably mention about things, just in abundance, having so much of this. Well, maybe you have so many cars, or so many homes, and so many this. And so if you don't have that, what we see, society says status, maybe you feel you don't have anything. And if I'm correct and you're coaching me, I say, no, Coach Toye, you actually have more than you think, you know. Or the average person, is that, if I'm kind of understanding. Well, that's fantastic. First of all, we need more abundance coaches. So let's just put that out there. And then when I think about you being a multi-author, like, you took all of this and put it into books, and of course, even a journal. Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about, maybe if you wanted to start with your first book or your latest project, it's up to you, but
Okay.
what is actually going on?
So I actually, let's go back a few years. I started writing a book for parenting. I'm very passionate about parenting because I truly believe that, and this is a question that I was asked not long ago, how do we make this world better? And I truly believe we start with the kids. I mean, there is no kid that is born racist or prejudiced or with hate. No, they learn those things, so we have to parent the right way. There is nothing that drives me crazy more than when I go to a restaurant and I see a family and the kids have iPads. And I'm thinking, okay, you have time to go to a restaurant. Why you're not utilizing that time to get to know your child, to find out what the kid like, what he doesn't like, what's going on in school, if he's being bullied, if he has any questions, why not connecting? I have 3 amazing kids, and I was very blessed to have the teenage years of my girls very smooth. I didn't have the drama that some parents have because I had a very strong communication with them. I always tell them, we are like trees. If our roots are deep in the ground, we're going to grow straight. And yes, our leaves are going to change because you evolve, you change as you grow. But your roots, your core, your soul is never going to change. So, I started writing this book about parenting, and my husband and I went to a trip and my computer crashed. And I had a Sex in the City moment where my half of my book was deleted. I had half of my book in Las Vegas, and the other half that I was writing was gone. So I called my coach that who lives in Miami, and I said, we need to have coffee. I'm having a breakdown. And as a coach, when you have a breakdown, a breakthrough is going to come right after, and the growth is going to come right after that breakthrough. So we had a coffee, and he said to me, yes. And I'm like, what do you mean, yes? I'm devastated. My book was deleted. And he goes, that means that you're going to write a better book. And I didn't write anything for like 2-3 years. I was like, forget it. This is a sign, because we always like to look for signs, that this is a sign I'm not supposed to write any more books. And when COVID started, one of my nephews from Peru was stuck here in Las Vegas. And he's a publisher. So he was like, Tia, why you don't publish your book? And I'm like, because I don't have any material. And he's like, I reach you all the time. You have a blog. At that time I had a blog. You have a blog, you have your Instagram, you write so beautifully. Why don't we work in putting all that together? So we started working on that. And my first book was this one, which is called Brighter Days.
Brighter Days.
And it's 88 most important lessons learned in life for women that want to increase their confidence, resilience, and courage. And what I did is I went through everything that I published, and I pick and choose my lessons, and I put them together. I didn't have a number. I didn't say I'm going to have 70 lessons or 88 lessons or 100 lessons. I just went through everything, and it happened to be 88. And I published my first book, and I was so proud of myself because this was something that I was saying for a long time. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And it kept going to the back burner. And we do that a lot in our life. I'm going to do this. And it's funny because I tell my kids, I'm going to is dead. Either you do it or you don't. Don't say I'm going to, because it's never going to happen. So I started with that one. And then I did these cards, which are my book.
Wow.
And they have the lessons in the back, because some of my friends said to me, I love your book. I have read it 3 or 4 times. Sometimes I open it up and I just put a page, I mark a page and I read, and that's my lesson of the day, or that's what inspired me, or something like that. But I would love to carry it with me. And actually, one of my friends showed me the book was destroyed because she has carried it everywhere in the beach. She had gone in trips and whatever. The book was destroyed. So I came up with these cards that I only sell in my website, but they have the lessons in the back. You know, it's like comparison is the thief of joy, and I talk about it. So now they pick one card, and that's the card, that's their mantra for the day, that's their affirmation for the day, and that was great. So I was super excited with my 2 little projects. But then when COVID got really bad,
yes,
I saw how many kids were going through depression, how many kids were taking their life, how many kids were not understanding what was going on, and they were going into this dark place. So I decided to do a journal for children. So I call it my gratitude journal. I am. So I am, as you know, because you're a coach, it's a very, very hard question when you ask, who are you?
Who are you?
Usually we say what we are, not who we are.
That is true. That is
somebody
true.
asks you, tell me, I am, and they go, I am a lawyer, I am a mom, I am a trainer. But that's not the question, it's who you are. Because who you are is what you're gonna carry on the rest of your life. Right. That's who you are. Right. Your career, your hobbies, your marital status, all that is gonna change. Maybe not, but most likely it's gonna change. So I said, okay, how can I help these kids being present? Because a lot of kids don't know, even though by default they're present, because they're playing and they're doing this, they're doing that. Also, their minds are working, and they tend to go to the negative of what happened to them and not for them every single day. And that's another thing that I talk to my clients. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And maybe in that moment when whatever is happening, you don't realize it, later on you're gonna go back and say, that's what I didn't get that job. That's what that guy never called me back. That's what I was stuck in traffic. So things happen for you. And the more you embrace that, the more gratitude you're going to have for everything that happens in your life, because you are going to really see the positive.
Yes.
So in this one, I made it a little more fun for kids. Yes. So you can see on the top, they can circle a little face.
Yep. And for those who will actually, which is going to be great because we'll be able to share the video of this particular episode. I think this is going to be more powerful than the audio. So folks, don't worry about it. We're going to catch you on that, on the video. So that'll be great. And I'm looking at that picture in your book. First of all, you made it very colorful, which is very attractive for kids, because if we get distracted, and particularly children may get distracted a little bit easier than adults. But I'm really liking the cards, the affirmation. I think that
I'm gonna send you the cards so you can have
the cards. It's all in the
cards. So the kids journal also has affirmations in the bottom. Okay. So for example, do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. It has different affirmations from famous people, some affirmations that I use in my everyday day. Believe in yourself. And it also has little stories with a message and exercises for the kids, to be familiar with different situations that they might encounter in school and they don't know how to deal with. What's right, what's wrong. So I did that one. And this one, the last one that I published was because I was having a lunch with a friend of mine that keep on telling me I am in a bad place. And that's all she could say. No matter how many tools I gave her in that lunch, no matter what I said to her, no matter what solution I try to help her see in her situation, she was constantly coming back to me, I am in a really bad place. So driving back home, and I was talking about this with my husband yesterday, driving back home, I was thinking, I would have to move in with this woman to empower her 24/7, you know? I mean, and it was breaking my heart to see how stuck she was,
Yeah.
and how she wasn't seeing anything else positive in your life, in her life. And I was telling her, but you're healthy. You know, there's some people that don't have health. I mean, we don't wake up in the morning and we thank our body for what we put our body through every single day. We don't do that, and we should, because we have a healthy body. And as corny as and silly as that sound, we gotta be grateful for it. We gotta be grateful for our health. We gotta be grateful that we live in a place where we don't have to wake up with a war in our, you know, like in Ukraine. I mean, we have to be grateful for everythis that we have in our life to be able to appreciate the life that we have.
Yeah.
So I came up with this journal that is very short, because it's only 3 prompts in the morning and 3 prompts at night.
Okay.
That helps us really pay attention to what's working. So in the morning, we have to write something kind about ourselves right from the get-go.
Okay, I will do that.
Then we have to write, I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
And finish that sentence. And every day you gotta be grateful about something different in your life.
Okay.
And then I will make today great by, and have a commitment with yourself. That's what I was talking earlier about integrity. You make a commitment with yourself. It all starts with you. So I'm gonna make my day better or great by being more patient with my coworkers. Simple things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And be committed to that for the rest of the day, one day at a time. Kind of like the 12 steps, you do one day at a time, because that's all you really have. We don't have any insurance that we're gonna be here today in the afternoon. So the only time that we have is the time that we are here present in this moment. Okay. So how can I make my life better right now? How can I be an impact in somebody else's life in this moment, in the grocery store, in the line, in the post office? How can you be at service? How can you pay forward? Because all those things that you do during the day enrich who you are. So then when you go back to that mirror, you're gonna like that person looking back at you a lot more than yesterday, right?
You should. And I'm telling you that when I'm listening to what you're saying about, first of all, you have to tap into capital Y-O-U. I always say that, you know, to clients, I say it to family, friends, but family and friends don't listen, right? That is a whole different story. I think,
tell you, don't coach me. Don't coach me.
Right. Don't coach me. Don't coach me. Okay, I won't, you know. But meanwhile, somebody's always asking you, well, I want to be better at this. I want to do that. And something's not working. So, you know, I feel that everyone, in my opinion, everyone actually can be coached. But when we're talking about, you have to move away of if I'm hearing what you're saying in terms of abundance, and I keep going back to that, because I know, you know, you have the journal as well about, you know, shrink to fit. We want to be something sometimes that we just aren't. You just need to be who you are.
Absolutely.
If you just get that right. You don't have to have a college degree for that. You don't have to have a high school diploma for that. It really just tap into who you are, and then you'll notice things start to happen in your life that is so unexpected, that are actually good, not only good to you, but good for you.
Exactly.
And that's the way I kind of see it. So I think that, you know, you did a phenomenal job in getting the content in the books, several books, so that people can go from one book to another. It almost seems like you're leaving a trail of breadcrumbs, like, hey, you have this book, and then you can practice that, you can write down, you can do what you need to do. And, you know, let's face it, and of course, you being a coach, people may want to just even reach out to you even more, but I think that that's great. And I really think it's good for both adults as well as younger, you know, audience. When I say full grown adults versus the children, you know, and so that's amazing. But one of the things too, I was thinking, when you said your First of all, again, I'm speaking with Claudia Noriega Bernstein. I love her name, Claudia Noriega Bernstein. Okay, and I didn't say in the beginning, hola, hola, ¿cómo está usted? I told you I would say it with my español, my
Bien,
Spanish,
gracias, encantada.
gracias, y too, and and I just wanted to say, when you're talking with primarily women are your clients, and yes, you have had male clients as well. Right now, what's going on, we have so much going on, and we can always keep saying COVID this, COVID that, oh, I didn't do it, it was COVID, oh, I mean, by the time you figure it out, it'll be 5 years and you'll still be saying I didn't do something because of that. Now we understand that we do have to work around what's going on in the world and get our things out. So if for me, I'm an aspiring author. I know it, my audience, both my national and international audience is saying, Coach Toye, when are you going to do the book? You've been saying you're an aspiring author. So I'm probably one of the worst examples. But what do you say to women right now in that space? They're sort of, well, I want to do something. My family, the kids are older, they're out of the house, some of them, I'm great with my marriage or my significant other, and I just want to do something. I don't know where to start. And I don't even think I have a lot of anything. That mindset, is that, what happens when you approach someone like that? Is that an easy, is there an easy?
Well, first of all, there's two things I want to tell you about. The why is very important. When somebody asks me, I don't know, or tell me I don't know what to do,
okay,
I go with the 4 whys. I ask them why. So they tell me why. And I said, why again? And why again? And why again? Because when you keep asking, it's like you're digging. You're really digging and to find out why you want to do this.
Okay.
The second part is the limited beliefs. We all have limited beliefs, and it's up to us to shift from the limited belief to what is reality, because everything is about perception. But when we have a limited belief, we're very good in collecting evidence. Very good. Oh my gosh. I have clients that I said, but what stopped you to do that? Well, because I am going to do this, and what if this happened, and they are convinced. I mean, they will take it all the way to the ending line, to the finish line, because they are convinced of those limited beliefs. And so I always tell them, what are your pillars? What is what matters to you? And you can start making a list, and I tell them, make a list. You can have 20 pillars, and then start putting a number next to them. How many are number 1? How many are number 2? How many are number 3? And end up with like 3, 4, 5 top, Some people will say, if it doesn't make me happier, healthier, or wealthier, I don't want it. Perfect. Those are your pillars. Nobody has to judge you. But if you have your pillars, you have your why, then your beliefs are not going to be destroying that vision. They're not going to be limited beliefs. They're going to be the real thing. This is what it is. This is the reality. Once you get there, then you can make yourself a goal. You can have a vision. I work with vision boards. I think it's so important to have a vision board. I am an artist, so I am very visual. Right. And I will send you a picture of my last vision board so you can have it. But I think it's important to see and visualize what you want. Even if you have to print something out of the computer that say, I'm going to be a published author. And you see it. And then you go by when. It's so important. I cannot tell you how important it is to have a by when. So you set those time frames for you. And those are your time frames. You can say, I'm going to be an author in 5 years from now. That's perfect. That's your goal in 5 years, because there are other things that you want to do in those 5 years. But you have to have a by when, and you have to hold yourself accountable on that period of time. So when that period of time comes, the only person you're going to fail is yourself. Right. Because nobody knows you wanted to publish a book. in 5 years from now in May or in June. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the only person you're gonna fail is yourself.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be your best friend. Why would you fail your best friend?
Right. Think about that. And for our listeners that will hear this broadcast, I mean, and just see it, in video format. Thank you so much for explaining that and breaking it down and showing us the book and what it looks like. Because, and I'm going to urge everyone and anyone who eventually listens to this, go ahead, purchase the book, multiple. She has multiple, including the journal. This is really important, and I can't express it enough. With Claudia Noriega Bernstein, abundance coach, artist, actress, yes, soap opera, for those of you who don't know, and you speak fluent Spanish, correct?
And English and Italian.
English, fluent, everything, Spanish and English. I mean, so there's a lot of things. One of the things I wanted to ask, because I know with limited time, but I wanted to get to the mixture when you talk about your art background, and then you have the coaching background. Yes. And you are trying to bring primarily women to really their successful point. And I tell people all the time, you're already successful. The coach just helps you continue on a path of successfulness. Because if you don't believe that you are successful before somebody, no one has to tell you you're successful. You have to believe it in and of yourself. But with your background in art, and I just wanted to say that because I didn't want to lose thought of that you have so many different backgrounds, diverse background. Does the art itself, does that have something to do with how you, present your content, or is there a mixture with your coaching and your art? Is it relatable in any sort of way?
It is. I had, for example, when I had a couple of kids that I have coached, and when I have coached them, I do art with them. I have a studio and I do art with them because kids are more open to have a conversation and share deep things when they are doing something, when they're creating something. So I don't just give them a canvas and say, you know what, paint whatever. No, we do something together. And I have adults that sometimes I do that. I had a batik class the other day just with a client, and we did some, wax painting, and while we are doing this, we're talking, because not everybody is comfortable sitting in a couch and just say, this is my problem. They want to have a coffee. I used to have a client that wasn't, she came from a culture that was really shrinking her, really shrinking her. And her sister reached out to me and she said, can we meet in a coffee shop? My sister doesn't want to go to your studio. She felt afraid to do that. Okay. So I used to meet her in a coffee shop, and the sister would be in our meetings, which was very unusual. And she didn't speak English, only Spanish. Okay. So we would talk. And by the way, my books are in English and Spanish, if anybody.
Oh, good, good. They are both. Yeah. Okay, great.
So we would meet in the coffee shop, and at the beginning was the three of us. So the sister would sit there with her phone while the other sister would talk to me. And little by little, I empower her to get out of the state of mind that she was, with simple things as go take a walk around your block, go to church and volunteer, little by little. To make the story short, eventually she started meeting along with me without a sister. She learned to take buses that she never had done. She was in a very abusive relationship. She never left the house. She was practically at service of her very abusive husband. And the three boys that she had were watching that behavior. So that's the worst part, because they're going to continue that cycle. But eventually I called one of my friends that was working pro bono, represented her in court. She went to court, a total different woman, hair done, makeup, different clothing. The men could not believe that was the woman that had married him 12, 15 years ago. and she got what she rightfully deserved to have. And now she lives a total different life of abundance.
Wow.
With her 3 boys, you know, and this person that was abusing her, neglecting her, and shrinking her for so many years is not part of her life anymore. And that for me is one of the most successful stories I have, because, you know, my dad used to say, if you plant a tree, write a book, and change somebody's life, then you had a good life. And for me, that was good enough. You know, it's like, wow, the impact that we can have in somebody's life, and the ripple effect, because now these 3 boys are seeing how powerful her mom is, and their mom is teaching them how to treat a woman and what a woman deserves, and the respect that comes with it. It was such a joyful moment for me when I found out that finally she was out of that relationship. And I mean, I don't have contact with her anymore. Some of my clients call me back, and it's funny, that probably happens to you. They get freebies, you know, like they call you to see how you're doing, and suddenly you're coaching them an hour and a half, you know. So some of my clients do that, and I don't mind because I love them all.
But you still a transformation. I think what the main thing is, the ingredient, that there was a transformation with that particular client. And so that means you made a difference and impacted, you know, someone's life. And that's really what, you know, coaches, I mean, we kind of live for that, you know, and things may not be all roses in our own lives, but it's amazing. And a lot of us became coaches. So it's, you know, some sort of therapy or whatever. People will say that too. But like I said, it really, I wanted to connect the art because, you know, as a performing artist, and when in my teens, you know, I was part of a group in Brooklyn, New York, the Quadraphonics, they're out there.
Wow.
And just recently reconnected after all of these years, all except one person. We're still trying to find her, and through the lovely internet, hopefully we will.
Picture that.
Yeah, so, you know, different transformation. We're all doing different things. Somebody's retired, someone still re-entered the workforce, and I myself is doing 100 things. Of sometimes I think, what am I doing? But it's 100 things. And so I just really look at it from an artist standpoint. You know, I understand now what you're saying, and I wanted to make sure that I tapped into that, because that's also your talent. You know, your talent. And it was, well, maybe even before coaching, as an actress, you have to pretend to be someone else. And in life, a lot of us are pretending to be something else. We want to be something that we're not, and we weren't even built for it. So
that's when you shrink. That's exactly
the strength. Right, and the shrink. And so, you know, again, for my listeners, both national, international audience, you've been listening to this wonderful, amazing, talented abundance coach, actress, artist. I mean, she has so many titles. I can't even name them all, but I can tell you, you need to check her out. Her website, if you're interested in purchasing her book, we're going to go there. We're going to let you know where you need to go, because there's some areas in your life. I'm sure you thought that you were had abundance. You're thinking about it in terms of things. This is more, folks, than just things. You have to listen to Coach I want to say Coach Noriega Bernstein, but I love to say her first name as well as Claudia. And I'm thanking you. But where can people find your book? We're going to wrap up a little bit now. Where can people find your book, and or you, if they're interested in having you coach them, or just some things they want to, you know, I don't know if you're offering anything.
Yes, I am working on a training that is not out yet. My next book for actually a journal for men is coming in a couple of weeks, because this one with flowers is not very men oriented. But they can go to brighterdaysbook.com and purchase. I have a lot of different things in there. They can contact me for coaching there too as well. But my books are in Amazon. And Barnes and Noble also has them, but it's easier in Amazon. Just buy them. You just type my name and you'll see the list of all my books.
Go ahead, hold that book up one more time, because this will be a visual. We're going to probably keep your episode to video. I Don't Shrink to Fit. You got that? by Claudia Noriega Bernstein. I don't shrink to fit. If you say that 3 times, you'll know what that really means. And then there are the cards. And can you show us those affirmation cards again? Again, if they're for younger audience or parents out there that want to purchase, and that's what they look like. It has the same, it looks like the cover of the book.
The same of my book, yes. The same cover of my book.
Yes.
And in the back, they have, different messages.
Yeah.
Like this one that says, I'm not a dumpster.
Yes, and for classrooms all over the globe, they may be interested in that too. So you never know if there's someone listening. Again, right now we're in 12 countries, and I'm thanking my international audience for listening in today. I've had this amazing guest. I'm speaking with Coach Claudia Noriega Bernstein, and off camera we'll talk about my pronunciation, but I didn't want to mess it up as long as I get close, close enough. And I wanted to say too, with all that said, you got so many things going on, so many irons in the fire, if you will. What is next for you? And leave us a tip for any woman out there that's just thinking they're just not enough, or they don't have enough.
We don't have enough is a perception. It's always a perception. Look for people that add to your life. Mm-hmm. It's hard sometimes, especially when it comes to family, to say no to toxic relationships. And it's important to clean up. You need to have a good tribe, a good group of people that empower you, that see the positive in you, that motivate you to be a better person. When you have those downers, misery likes company, and they pull you down and they pull you down. For me, the first step is, let's clean up your tray. Who do you have in your life that is not allowing you to move forward, and why? Why are you allowing this person to hold you back? So work with your whys, and then start focusing on what you really have in your life. The abundance. When people ask me, you always see your glass half full, I tell them I have many glasses. I don't have one glass. And it's important to live a life of abundance, to have many glasses, because you're not going to have them all full. But when you see that 7 of your glasses are half full and 1 is half empty, you're not going to care about that one that much, because you're going to have a good balance.
Yes.
So, be present, be in the moment, and count your blessing, and be grateful. Don't pay attention to what's not working. And every single time that something happened for you, acknowledge it and know that there is a bigger plan for you. There is a God, the universe, whatever you want to believe, has a bigger plan for you. And at the end, everything works out. If it hasn't worked out, it's not the end yet.
Wow, that was powerful. Did you hear that, folks? I hope you did. Hone in on what was just said by Coach Noriega Bernstein. She's based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. She didn't let it stay in Vegas. She's telling you right here, folks, on the Speak to Me First podcast show. And I'm your host, Toye Johnson-Vincent's Coach Toye to you, the no sugarcoating coach, as most of you know. This is all about abundance, but it's even more than that. And if you have a coach, or you're looking for a coach, I should say, you need to tap into Coach Claudia. And again, you can find Coach Claudia at Brighter Days. Am I correct? BrighterDaysBook.com. BrighterDaysBook.com. Again, Brighter Days with an S, book.com. Claudia.
Just like my book.
And we're going to show that book again. We're going to put that book right back up on the screen for people to see. There it is. And what a beautiful cover that is. And again, Brighter Days, if you think about it.
These are my kids' hands.
Oh.
If you see it, making a peace sign.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
You see the little hands there?
Yeah. Now that I look closely, yes, I can. Because I was going to say the cover, it was really, really nice. It's just more than nice. It's just good. It looks good. And then I like that because with peace, and what do we need more of in all of our lives? We could use peace. Globally, the world could use peace as well. So, Claudia, I want to thank you so much, Coach Claudia, for coming on my show today, spending a little bit of time with me. We could have chopped it up all day long. You know that. Between Vegas and Atlanta, we'll figure out a way to meet somewhere in between. I just wanted people to know, not only have you been listening to Coach Claudia, she's not only a coach, again, she's a accomplished artist, an accomplished actress. I mean, soap operas, I love them. I still record them. Yes, I do. You know, and your soap operas are out there somewhere. I'm sure there's a YouTube out there with your name on it. But if you want to learn more about Claudia, make sure you go to Brighter Days. That's with an S, right? BrighterDaysBook.com. Make sure you check it out. And, you know, I wish all of my audience who are listening today and beyond, you also have a brighter day, because again, just when you think you have it all and you think it's all about things in abundance, trust and believe it's a lot more. And I want to say, I'm Toye Johnson-Vincent, your no sugarcoating coach, motivational speaker, HR consultant, podcast host of Speak to Me First, you know, podcast show. And again, I'm going to leave you with this, as I always do. Again, thanking you, Coach Claudia. I always leave this with my audience, and that is success is in your future. I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back. And Claudia, why don't you hold those books up before we close out? And one more time, you have about 3 or 4 items right at your fingertips. I know it's a last minute thing, but I know you can do it. And then there it is, all of the books waiting for you, audience. Don't forget, you've been listening to Coach Toye at Speak to Me First podcast show. And again, thank you so much for doing my amazing guest, Coach Claudia Noriega Bernstein. I will talk with you off camera soon, Coach Claudia. Thank you very much. Success is in your futures. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.